OK, let's turn our attention next to a feisty London derby. Well, it is usually West Ham against Chelsea. Let's hear from both bosses. We've got, of course, David Moyes and Mauricio Pochettino.
We want everybody to come in on, the way everybody was in East End of London, and obviously the night in Prague. We want that to start the season well. It'll be a great atmosphere here against Chelsea. So let's hope that we get everybody behind the team and gives us a great chance of getting a result.
Started.
Hi Mauricio.
Hi, hello.
This morning you confirmed Romeo Lavia as a Chelsea player.
Yes.
Just why did you decide to sign him?
I think we all know him, his quality, his profile. I think he's a perfect player for this project. I think we are excited and we are so happy to add him in the squad.
And Moises Caicedo confirmed earlier on this week. Why did the club fight so hard to try and make sure you could sign him?
Why it was so hard?
Why did you work so hard to get him over the line and make sure he was a Chelsea player?
Oh, of course, the club works really hard about that. I think it's about to congratulate the owners and the sporting director, Lawrence and Paul, because the show was amazing. To add this type of player like Moy or Romeo now and all the previous signing, I think was a fantastic work from the club, and I think we need to congratulate the job that they were doing and are doing, owners and sporting director, because it was fantastic. This type of player that with the quality that they have to add in this squad and in this project, I think it's an amazing thing, and it's very exciting moment and situation for the club.
Now there's some bad news. Reece James picks up an injury in training this week. What can you tell us about the injury? How big a blow is that, and how long could he be out for now?
Yes, I think it's a sad moment because he's our captain and he was so exciting to be a captain, and he was, full energy. And yes, but I think we are going to assess him day by day, and it's going to be, for sure, as soon as possible, we're going to be again with the team, and for sure he's going to be stronger and become stronger than he was, because we are with the structure of the club, we are going to help him to become stronger than before. Yesterday,
Michael Elise signed a new contract with Crystal Palace. Are you surprised he turned down the opportunity to join Chelsea? With Christopher Nkunku out, you mentioned last week you'll look at solutions. Are you still looking for potential options in that forward area?
We are working, of course, seeing all the options that we can manage on the market. I think all the clubs are doing the same than us, and then see the potential that we can, transform in reality all this target. But I think in the same time we are keeping, one or two eyes in Armando Broja, because I think we cannot forget him, and we cannot stop him, and to bring some profile of player that can stop in his evolution. And we really believe in him. He's we know very well him, and can be really important striker for Chelsea, and we need to be careful. I think it's a big disappointed with the situation of Christophe, because should be a very important player for us, helping Nico Jackson to score goals. But that is football, and we need to accept that situation. But at the same time, we cannot sometimes, go for some player that maybe after stop a player that we have. Maybe we need to be patient and to try to adapt our squad to try to get positive result, waiting for Armando to be fully fit.
Final question from me, Mauricio. Robert Sanchez took the #1 shirt yesterday. Will you be looking to sign somebody to compete with him, or do you see Robert being your #1 heading into this season?
That is a good question, because we are thinking on that. We are thinking in explore all the situations and the possibilities on the market. The club is open. and to assess all the options. At the moment, we are exploring all the situations that can provide the market and still not the decision.
Okay, we'll go to John Southall, BBC.
Just one on Reece James. You said you're going to assess it day by day. Is it a hamstring injury?
Yes, hamstring.
So is it not that serious if it's kind of a day by day situation?
No, it's not about few days. Maybe it's few weeks. But the most important is the evolution. The good thing is not a big issue. But the most important now is to try to work really hard to try to anticipate problems and be sure that when he start to play again, he's fully fit and stronger than was before. That is the most important. That's why we are going to assess him day by day and try to make the plan every day.
Looking at the bigger
Chelsea kicked off the Pochettino era with a 1-1 draw against Liverpool. How do you think they did? They created a few chances, did they not? Liverpool started strongly and ended strongly, but they controlled it in between somewhat.
Yeah, I thought for the first 30 minutes, I thought Liverpool's wide players, Diaz and Salah, had the better of Chelsea. And then it just shifted. When you see now Reece James getting on the ball and Sterling was getting in the pockets, I thought that's when Chelsea really came alive. And look, that should have been a goal, no question about it. But again, the wide areas, getting James and Chilwell involved is going to be the strength, and that was the goal there. So I was really impressed with them. The manager's quality, and I think they'll go from strength to strength. And I know you're a big fan of Enzo as well, aren't you?
I love Enzo. I know he costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he's worth it. He's class, pure quality. And the thing is, he can play a little bit deeper. But I think now, obviously, with signing Caicedo and Lavia, he can play a little bit higher. I mean, they absolutely dominated the ball. Nicholas Jackson, by the way, kicked off where he started in pre-season. He was brilliant, but he deserved a goal, really, for his performance. I thought he played great. That's the only doubt maybe as a centre-forward. He probably needs another one up there. Broy is coming back. He's going to have a lot of fun with that group of young players.
Yeah. I mean, Mauricio Pochettino handed over 4 debuts. And, you know, you can see from their summer signings, I mean, they've got some brilliant players on board now, particularly what's happened in this last week. I mean, they are literally hoovering up the best young talent the Premier League has to offer. Caicedo, Lavia, the 2 latest acquisitions. I mean, do they both just slot into the 11? How do they make space for these guys? Can you see them with Enzo being that midfield 3?
I think so, yeah. I'm not sure what Karen thinks. I think they'll play. I think Lavia would be the deeper one. Caicedo and Enzo will be kind of more box-to-box. But they have so many good, talented young players. I love Caicedo. I just think he's just a machine. You know, he's so strong, but technically he's great, coming from De Zerbi. The only worry I have for Chelsea is goalkeeper, Sanchez. I know he's a good goalkeeper, but you know, they lost 2 good ones in Kepa and Mendy, and they're definitely not better than they were. And I think the goalkeeper position is still, they look a little bit light there for me.
Yeah. The one worry as well now is the Reece James injury. I mean, you know, he's only just come back from what was a bit of an injury kind of ridden season last time round. It's another hamstring issue. Should we be a little bit concerned here? He's only just been appointed Chelsea captain.
I think that's the thing. You obviously get given the armband and you want to keep your captain fit. But take the armband aside, I was speaking there about the difference that Chelsea had was when Reece James got forward and started to push Liverpool further back. He's a massive asset. And even James and Chilwell, they've both had injuries. They've not played enough football together. If that's your biggest weapons down the flanks and 2 fantastic wing-backs, full-backs, whatever position they're going to play, you've got to keep them fit. So I would be saying, you know, I know Chelsea got rid of their medical team, but the new medical team have got to keep him fit.
Yeah. What do you think, Owen? What's your reading of this situation? It's not great for him, is it?
No, everybody loves Reece because he's just such an amazing player. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold's an amazing player, a generational player, but Reece probably all around is even just a little bit more complete. But fitness issues is a huge thing for them. We saw Malo Gusto, the young lad they signed from Lyon, who's a good player. Yeah. Very, very good player. So they got a good...
Him or Ian Maatsen could come in?
Yeah. Malo Gusto will play as a right back. I think Maatsen, can play as a left back a bit further forward. But they've got a good one there. But Reece is one of the best right backs in the world, and they've got to find a way to keep him fit. Yeah,
and they're taking on a West Ham team. I mean, they're going to have a couple of new faces themselves to give their debuts. James Ward-Prowse just looks like a no-brainer of an acquisition, right? £30 million from Southampton former captain. So obviously he's going to go into the Declan Rice kind of mould because he already was a big personality which needed filling.
Well, he was a leader, he was a
Yes.
captain, so naturally you're going to get that. You're going to get Premier League experience. You're going to get energy. I think for the last few Premier League seasons, his running stats have been through the roof. Set pieces, again, fantastic for West Ham. So in terms of kind of tick boxes, he delivers everything. You get him £30 million, actually. It's quite a good steal for all that criteria that you're getting. But for me, the biggest one is the leadership and the Premier League experience, because I still think they need that freshen up, and I think he'll do that for them.
Yeah, you could almost see it in this London derby, right? He steps up for that free kick, as we all know, the trademark technique, and then he'll equal David Beckham's record of 18 goals from set pieces.
He's the best free kick taker.
He is, isn't he?
He almost takes it like a penalty. It's that easy for him. It's ridiculous. But that's what you get when you practice that much. For him, technically, he just knows exactly what he wants to do. His execution is amazing. And I'm happy for him because he deserved an opportunity. Obviously, Southampton going down hurts. But he's in a good spot. And obviously, filling Declan Rice, I don't think obviously, his leadership is there. But I don't think he obviously won't play the same position. And I think he needs to find his way in that midfield three. I still think they need another body in there.
Do you?
Yeah, I still think they need another midfield player.
Edson Alvarez. What about him as an acquisition?
Like him, yeah. Good player. Can play as a centre-back, can play as a defensive midfield player. Obviously, Paqueta's the one. You know, he's the one that he's got that little bit of flair, but they got Souček as well. Ward-Prowse, does he play a bit further on the right? But yeah, I like what David Moyes is doing there, but obviously it still feels like they might be missing one at the top of the pitch.
But the transfer window, of course, is still open until the 1st of September. One of the biggest stories of the last few days, it feels like it's been going on for months, has been Moises Caicedo's potential transfer to Chelsea. That now looks as though it is going to happen, and he is going to be going to Chelsea. Reports now that he's having his medical, and in fact that medical has been completed with Chelsea. But that going on in the background of the draw between Chelsea and Liverpool yesterday. They've still got Romeo Lavia from Southampton to sort out, and although Liverpool are now reported to have agreed a fee of around about £60 million all included, Chelsea still could come in with another bid. That one is still not done yet. It's very interesting, this whole approach for defensive midfielders. Surely this was strikers' area before.
It used to be, but that seems to be the fashionable position to play on the pitch now. And when you look at Caicedo, 100 million, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you looked at the game yesterday, and I think both teams could do with a defensive midfield player, maybe more so Liverpool, because I don't think Alexis McAllister really wants to play there. But the fact that Chelsea have spent now 100 million on two players in similar positions in the last two transfer windows tells you that's a real area of importance. Now, I'm not quite sure, and Tim will be able to answer this better than me, the dynamic between Enzo, Caicedo, and if they're in for Lavia as well, I don't see how that works because they're not creative. They're all kind of defensive-minded. So who supplies the ammunition, who gets in the box, who gets the goals?
I think they're so good that they're flexible. I think Enzo, yesterday you saw Fernandes, he wasn't a sitting midfield player, you know, someone who picked the ball up and drive through the holes. We saw that with Declan Rice for Arsenal. You know, their game is evolving. They're not just sitting midfield players. I think they're adaptable, very versatile. And that's what managers want now, especially at top teams. I still think they're going to struggle with goals. Certainly they can spend all the money they want on midfield players. They've got no one to put the ball in the back of the net. They're going to have a problem. Kai Havertz has left the football club. They need a centre forward. I think Jackson's a good signing. Cuckoo's obviously got injured, which is a big blow for him. But for me, central midfield players going for this sort of money is unheard of. I mean, it is a very important role. I was one of them myself. So self-proclaimed, very important.
But genuinely, and I don't mean this question with any sort of curve on it or anything, but how hard is it? Because rarity value seems to be what's driving the price up. So in terms of how difficult it is and how difficult a position it is for a player to learn, why are there not that many of them around?
I think for managers, especially if they want to play progressively through the thirds, I think the number 6 role, the one who plays in that and gets the ball off the back players and gets on the half turn, checks his shoulder and progressively plays him through the field. I think he's the reference for the manager. He's the one you feel calm. I had a player called Moussa Dembele when I was at Tottenham, and when I used to sit there very nervously when they're passing the ball around, as soon as it went into him, I felt relaxed. I think that someone like Casemiro, for instance, going for that age, going for that sort of money to Manchester United, Caicedo, they obviously feel is that quality. I think he's got a lot to do. I think he's a very good player, but forget the amount, because the amounts are just getting blown out of the water. I mean, it's incredible. But they are the reference. They are the player who is the controller of the game, the one who speeds it up, one who slows it down, the one who breaks the game up as well, because it's very important to get the ball back from the opposition. Enzo Fernandez, I thought, was outstanding yesterday, and I didn't think he was that good last year. And I'll give him time to settle for Chelsea, obviously, but I don't think he is a sitting midfield player. I think he is a player who can play as an 8, a box-to-box player. So that versatility is everything for the managers, and they obviously feel they're very important, and there's not a lot of them around of the quality what they need. Hence why they're playing so much for these 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, as Tim said, the market has just gone crazy for defensive midfielders at the moment. And it sort of goes back almost to bringing in, I know he's not necessarily a natural defensive midfielder, but bringing in Enzo Fernandez and breaking the record for him. And then you've got Declan Rice going to Arsenal, and now Moises Caicedo. Plus, we've got the ongoing battle for Romeo Lavia, which I think started at 30-odd million and is now up to 16. Potentially, should Chelsea come back in, could rise even higher.
And Southampton are sitting back with their feet up, just waiting for the phone to ring again, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's
throughout the whole of yesterday's game, they're watching it going. Every second that went by, his price is going up and up.
I think as far as all of these midfielders are concerned, particularly Caicedo, this is front page news as well as back page news, because this speaks to the economic power of the Premier League, and people are watching this around the world will see just how much money these big clubs have for the right player. From Brighton's point of view, it's outstanding. £5 million they paid for him, less than 2 years ago from Independiente. He played 49 times for them, Brighton. And he's an outstanding player for all the reasons you've been saying, Tim. I think for Chelsea, if you look at the teams that Pochettino's managed, and take out PSG because they're a bit of a basket case. Sorry if you're a bit PSG. But if you
an
look
outlier.
An outlier. Thank you very much. Much more diplomatic. If you look at Southampton, Victor Wanyama and Morgan Schneiderlin were 2 midfielders who sat in front of the back 4. They earned big moves for Jose Font, for Dejan Lovren. They gave that protection to the back 4 that made St Mary's one of the hardest places to go. Then you look at Spurs, Moussa Dembele alongside Victor Wanyama. Those 2 made Spurs the joint best defensive record of Manchester United one season, and then the outright best defence in his first 2 campaigns at White Hart Lane, as it was then. And what he's clearly looking to do with Enzo and with Caicedo, it's a very similar thing. You will not, once he signs Caicedo, see a situation where their midfield is as overrun as Liverpool managed to yesterday. He wants to provide a shield for that back 4 so that he can build from the back and make Stamford Bridge a fortress, as it wasn't last season. Everybody knows how easy it was to go to Stamford Bridge and get points last season. That will not be the case when he signs Caicedo. So I think he's got a very, very clear idea of the way that he wants to play, wants to play. It may be 2 of them. He does want that depth. He does want to be able to sustain a title challenge. And he's been very open about the fact that when you're at Chelsea, you don't have room for manoeuvre. You have to go for number 1. I think if there is going to be a challenger to... Sorry, Righty, when you're coming up, if you're going to say this. But if there's going to be a challenger to City, I think it'll be Chelsea.
In the Premier League. He'll have a big smile on his face tonight as well, because the big transfer news is Chelsea have finally got their man. Moises Caicedo from Brighton has officially become a Chelsea player. Now, it's £100 million up front. We understand it could rise to 115 million, in which case he will be Britain's most expensive footballer. But when you look at the moment, just because of the 100 million that has been paid up front, he's 3rd behind Declan Rice and Enzo Fernandez, who we will come to in a moment from that game against Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, agreed the fee first, Michael. We understand Caicedo didn't want to go to Anfield. Chelsea have got their man. How significant?
Yeah, I think it's very significant. I think he's an unbelievably talented player. I think him and Enzo Fernandez could develop into the best pairing in the Premier League in that position. I think he's top class. He's young. He's got Premier League experience already. He's obviously super talented. I think Chelsea are looking quite good.
21 years of age, 44 games he's played in the Premier League.
I think the market is going crazy. I mean, how much would Michael Owen cost these days? Golden Ball winner and all seriousness, obviously he's massive talent. Probably he's going to be even better for Chelsea with the team that Pochettino is building. But in my opinion, 100 million is just too much at the moment. But hey, you ask for this money, someone is going to give it to you. You take it, you sell the player, and you say, I agree with you. Probably that's going to be a big hit for Chelsea.
So you mentioned Enzo Fernandez there, who still is at the moment until that fee rises, Britain's most expensive player. Yesterday, we saw him in a different role. What did you make of him?
We did, and I loved it. I really, really loved watching him play. And in fact, we were watching it with Glenn Hoddle, and Glenn Hoddle knows a thing or two about a midfield player, and he was drooling throughout the game as one of the best performances he's seen in a long time. The one thing that we really loved about him, in fact, I'll just pick him up here. This is him playing as a number 8 in this game. And just watch how many times he turns his head. He's constantly surveying the picture. There's one, he's looking around. He's waiting for the ball. He's looking again too. By the time the ball actually comes to him, I mean, he's just got pictures in his head. Bump round the corner. That absolutely kills the game. Yep. I mean, it literally kills the game. All of these players for Liverpool, all of these up here, they're all virtually out the game because of that one little bit of skill. And not only does he do that, watch his movement now. He doesn't just sit there and admire his pass. He bursts a gut to get there. Massive gap in the Liverpool defence, and he sees it, he exploits it. He's just a very, very intelligent player. He's always looking, always got pictures in his mind, and he's just playing the game 1-2 steps ahead of everybody else. Again, you mentioned the position that he took up, Steve. This is him here with Conor Gallagher
in a 6.
Yeah, he was in the 6th position. And again, always surveying. Look at his head. He's always doing. Look, there was one. Taking a touch, not just happy with the first one. He's off again. And then look at this for a beautiful ball. He's always momentum forward. He's just an absolute dream to play with, I'm sure he is. So he's great on the ball. Here in this situation, again, we pick him up here. Lots of space in front of him. He knows where the space is, all right. Looking, turning his head. And what about this for a ball? He's looked already. There's the third little glance, and then a lovely little ball. Again, watch where he's going. He doesn't just stand and admire it. He gets up, and watch again. He's constantly surveying the situation. He knows where everybody is. And despite everybody thinking he's looking in this direction here, everybody's looking in this direction, possibly here. But no, he's got eyes in the back of his head, this fella. And as soon as the ball comes, how can he possibly see that pass? But he does. I mean, just a brilliant passage of play from him. So he's constantly surveying all angles. Probably Paul Scholes is the one player that I watch that does exactly the same as that. Again, look at that for skill. I mean, he knows exactly what's around him, and when he's in trouble, he's just got the skill to play out of it as well. Again, moving into an advanced position here. Bump, bump, and away. I mean, he's just got everything, Berber, for a midfield. This is one little problem that he had. He loses the ball once in the game, probably, but look at his attitude to get back. The aggression, he wants to win it back. He's angry that he's lost it. He's charging, he's blocking people, and the team win it back, and they're off on another attack. It was just a masterclass. His attitude to get back, the aggression, he wants to win it back. He's angry that he's lost it. He's charging, he's blocking people, and the team win it back, and they're off on another attack. It was just a masterclass and him with Caicedo, Berber, in midfield. I think it's going to be some duo.
Well, you know, the clip that you showed, with exception with 2 of the moment where he was in a really difficult situation where you need to use more than 2 touches to get away from it, everything else was 1 touch or 2 touch, because he was doing this all the time.
Yeah.
So he knew exactly where he's on the pitch, where his teammates are on the pitch. Don't complicate the game. When you can pass 1 touch, pass it 1 touch. Simple.
And as you say, what was really interesting yesterday was the advanced position that Mauricio Pochettino gave him. At Benfica, he played a lot deeper, 4 goals, 7 assists. But in that role, and I'm sure Mauricio Pochettino watched him back playing for River Plate, got 12 goals actually in his time there in a further role, and he was in double figures for assists as well. So clearly, as you say, that's the plan for him, with Caicedo now being bought as well, going forward. That
he can play it. He's very good at it. But I think when you just give him the freedom to go forward a little bit more, I think that you're going to see those numbers. Again, last season there, 23 appearances and no goals for Chelsea. That's going to change. If they get a hold of him, if they get a Caicedo, give him the licence to go forward, then I think we're going to see him scoring a lot more goals.
Stamford Bridge. I'm Derek Ray, and joining me here on the commentary box for complete coverage is Lee Dixon. I'm looking forward to bringing you action from the Premier League coming right up. It is Chelsea taking on Liverpool.
Well, thank you, Derek. All the talking is done. Time now to put the coach's plans into action. Let's hope both teams really have a go at each other.
In with a chance! Oh, that was a terrific stop in a 1-versus-1 situation.
Well, high fives all round for the goalkeeper. Absolutely fantastic.
And firing it into the area. And players waiting in the centre. He's played it over to the near post. An early goal. It is the ideal opening.
Well, this is worth another look, Derek. Lovely movement and guile to easily evade the defender. And finishing like that with a lovely headed goal is absolutely superb.
Well, Liverpool restart the game. A wake-up call for them, perhaps. Thiago. Really good interception. And in with a real chance. And it's there for him. And a goal! The quick 1-2. And they've turned this game on its head.
Well, here's the replay. He didn't panic, did he? Decent strike, good technique, bread and butter strike, really, but it's in the back of the net.
Well, the goal again, albeit from a different angle. It's going their way, 2-0. How can he take them on and beat them? Kovacic. Chance to cross. Oh, what an opportunity. And still danger here. Well, a time for cool heads. Alexander-Arnold. And the Liverpool throw-in forthcoming.